Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition show, where I preview and predict the 2021-22 college basketball season. I go conference by conference. Then I go broader and do my big awards, and then Final Four and a national champion. Want to get this done nice and quick here. And we will start with the American Athletic Conference. In first place, I have the Houston Cougars. Houston's been a contender the last few years under Calvin Sampson. And I think that they will be right there yet again. They have some good newcomers coming in and whatnot. In second, I have the Memphis Tigers. Some people like them more than Houston, but they really haven't come through under Penny Hardaway. That's just the harsh sort of reality here. That that program really hasn't come through under him yet. Maybe this will finally be the year. Third place, I have Wichita State. Really solid team. I think that they get overlooked because people don't look at them as the same school as they were a couple years ago in the Missouri Valley. That's all true, but there's not bad. Fourth, Cincinnati. This could be a bounce-back team in the American after a disappointing year last year. Fifth, I have SMU. I think they aren't as great as people think. So we'll see what happens with them. Sixth, I have UCF. That's a huge wild card in this conference, as is my seventh place pick of Tulsa. Eighth, I have Tulane. Ninth, Temple. 10th, South Florida. 11th, East Carolina. My player of the year pick in the AAC, I'm going to go with Tyson Etienne of Wichita State. Freshman of the year, Jalen Durant of Memphis. Newcomer of the year, Kyler Edwards of Houston. And the coach of the year, because I finally think they break through this year, Penny Hardaway of Memphis. All right, now the ACC. Loaded conference as usual, obviously. And first, I have Duke. I think that this is a interesting year for Duke. Disappointing year last year. So we'll see how it works out. And they have a lot of talent coming in, as they do each and every year. I think Coach K is going to have them ready to go. So I think that they bounce back here. Second, at Florida State. They are a team that's been a contender the last couple years under Leonard Hamilton. I think they will continue to do so with that veteran team they have there. In third, I have North Carolina. They have a new coach in Hubert Davis as Roy Williams retires. They have a lot of talent still around. Fourth place, I have the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia is a team that, for some reason, just gets forgotten about every year, which is crazy to me. In fifth place, I have Syracuse. I think they're going to be better than people think. I really like Buddy Boeheim. He really is somebody that I think could have a big, big year this year. Sixth, I have Louisville. Louisville, I think, is a team that could be better than expected. We'll see about that. And I like their coach and Chris Mack. Seventh, I have Virginia Tech. Some people like this team more than me. They have a good coach in Mike Young. They were ranked for a little bit last year. Eighth, Notre Dame. I think that this is a bounce-back team in the conference. Mike Bray is a great coach. He's going to have them ready to go. Ninth, I have Miami. They're always a wild card in this conference. Jim Larinaga is a good coach. But some years they're in the top 25 consistently. And other years they're at the bottom of the conference. 10th, I have Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's interesting to me. That's a team that always tends to overachieve. And also, about Georgia Tech, I believe, is Josh Pastner still there at Georgia Tech? I believe he is, yes. And I think he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, amazingly enough. And we'll see if they overachieve again. Next up in 11th place, I have NC State. That's always a wild card every year in the ACC. 12th, I have Clemson. Their coach is a coach that I feel like is a hot seat guy every year, but always somehow survives. Brad Bromwell. But he gets them to overachieve too. 13th, Wake Forest. Wake Forest just isn't any good. 14th, Pitt. They are a team that has some moments, pulled off some upsets. Jeff Capel's their coach. And 15th, Boston College, as they have a interesting thing going. Jim Christian is gone. Earl Grant is in, so maybe they overachieve a little bit. My player of the year pick at the ACC is Buddy Boeheim. I just think that he's going to be exciting to watch. Syracuse is always on TV. That'll give him some respect. Freshman of the year, Paolo Banchero of Duke. He's just another highly touted prospect recruited by Coach K. Newcomer of the year, Jaden Gardner of Virginia. Virginia always hits on these transfer guys. And Coach of the year, Hubert Davis of North Carolina. The America East. First, I have Vermont. Vermont's usually good every year. Stony Brook, I have second. Third, New Hampshire. Fourth, UMBC. Fifth, Hartford. Sixth, UMass Lowell. Seventh, Albany. Eighth, NJIT. Ninth, May 10, Binghamton. Player of the year, Ryan Davis of Vermont. Freshman of the year, Justin Neely of Albany. Newcomer of the year, Elijah Olenai of Stony Brook. And Coach of the year, Gino Ford of Stony Brook. The Atlantic Sun. First, I have Liberty. Second, Eastern Kentucky. Third, Jacksonville State. Fourth, Bellarmine. Fifth, Lipscomb. Sixth, Florida Gulf Coast. Seventh, North Florida. Eighth, Stetson. Ninth, North Alabama. 10th, Jacksonville. 11th, Kennesaw State. 12th, Central Arkansas. Player of the year, I have Darius McGee of Liberty. Freshman of the year, Joseph Fenzon of Liberty. Newcomer of the year, Braxton Beverly of Eastern Kentucky. And the Coach of the year, A.W. Hamilton of Eastern Kentucky. The Atlantic 10, always an interesting conference in college basketball. In first, I have St. Bonaventure. They're going to be a top 25-ish team all year long. Mark Schmidt's a great coach. They have a great player in Kyle Lofton. Second, I have Richmond. Some people think Richmond's going to be Grant Golden, good player. Jacob Gilliard, first-team player, capable. Third place, I have St. Louis. They have a newcomer, Francis Okoro, coming in. And Javante Perkins is a good player, too. Fourth, I have VCU, usually a contender every year. Fifth, Dayton, they're up and down. Same with the team I have in sixth, Davidson. Seventh, Rhode Island. Same tier, I guess. George Mason, I have eighth. Ninth, UMass. 10th, St. Joe's. 11th, Duquesne. 12, George Washington. 13, LaSalle. And 14, Fordham. My player of the year, Kyle Lofton to St. Bonaventure. Player on the top 25 team in a smaller conference. Compared to even the likes of the Mountain West and the American. Freshman of the year, DeRon Holmes of Dayton. Newcomer of the year, Francis Okoro in St. Louis. Coach of the year, Mark Schmidt, St. Bonaventure. The Big East. Always interesting as a conference. And my pick to win the conference is obviously Villanova. I mean, who else? Really? I know they had a bad year last year, but I still think they're right there. Colin Gillespie, Jermaine Samuels, Justin Moore. They have a ton of talent, and they also have Jay Wright, who's an amazing coach. Second place, I have UConn. I think UConn will have another good year. Top 25 team. RJ Cole will carry that team. Third place, I have Xavier. They're going to be right there, too. Paul Scruggs is a good player. Zach Fermantel's good. Fourth, I have Seton Hall. I think they're going to be a better team than people think. Kadari Raymond is a good year 2 player that transferred. So he'll help them. And I think Kevin Willard's a better coach than people give him credit for. Fifth, I have St. John's. St. John's, a lot of people think will be better than this, but they tend to disappoint when they have expectations. I think that they have a very solid head coach in Mike Anderson. And also they obviously have Julian Champagne, who is amazing and could win the Big East Player of the Year. 6, Butler. Butler is like a hit or miss wild card every year in the Big East. Chuck Harris, year 2. Number 7, I have Providence. They're always a bit of a wild card too. Nate Watson's an awesome player as a redshirt senior, and they also have Al Durham coming in as a transfer. 8th, I have Creighton. They're always an interesting team under Greg McDermott. They have Ryan Kalkbrenner back in year 2. And they also have a good transfer coming in Ryan Nebhard. They're not a transfer, he's just a freshman. That's my bad. 9th, I have Georgetown. Patrick Ewing, I think, has done a better job there than people give him credit for. He's done a nice job recruiting, but really hasn't put it all together. I think good freshman coming in, and Aminu Muhammad. In 10th, I have Marquette. Shaka Smart's there now after leaving Texas. After Texas lost Abilene Christian. Justin Lewis. Solid player in year 2. And then Daryl Morzell is a good transfer they got. And then in 11th is DePaul. I mean, it's the same old song and dance with DePaul. And they have yet again another new coach in Tony Stubblefield. All right, player of the year, Colin Gillespie, Villanova. Big bounce back year after the injury a year ago. Freshman of the year, Amina Muhammad of Georgetown. Newcomer of the Year, Kadari Richmond Seton Hall. And Coach of the Year, Travis Steele of Xavier. All right, the Big Sky. And first, I have Southern Utah. Second, Weber State. Third, Montana State. Fourth, Northern Colorado. Fifth, Montana. Sixth, Idaho State. Seventh, Eastern Washington. Eighth, Portland State. Ninth, Sacramento State. 10th, Northern Arizona. And 11th, Idaho. Player of the Year, Saiku Seisosho of Weber State. Freshman of the Year, A.J. Burgeon of Idaho State. Newcomer of the Year, Cody McEwen of Weber State. And Coach of the Year, Todd Simon of Southern Utah. The Big South. I have in the first place in the North Division, Campbell. Second of NC-A&T. Third, Longwood. Fourth, Radford. Fifth, Hampton. Sixth, High Point. In the South Division, first, Winthrop. Second, UNC Asheville. Third, Gardner-Webb. Fourth, Presbyterian. Fifth, Charleston Southern. And sixth, USC Upstate. Player of the Year, I have DJ Burns of Winthrop. Freshman of the Year, Julian Samaro of Gardner-Webb. Newcomer of the Year, Drew Pember of UNC Asheville. And Coach of the Year, Kevin McGeehan of Campbell. The Big Ten, always a big conference each and every year. And winning the conference, I have the Illinois Fighting Illini. Talent galore on that team. I just think they're getting disrespected. They have an awesome coach in Brad Underwood. Kofi Cockburn's a phenomenal player. Andre Curbello's good too as a year 2 player. In second place, I have the Michigan Wolverines. Hunter Dickinson, very good big man for the Wolverines. They have a good transfer coming in, or a good freshman coming in Caleb Houston. And I think Juwan Howard's done a good job with this group. Third place, I have Purdue. Matt Painter just keeps them relevant every year. Trevion Williams is a really good senior that they have. Zach Eddy is a good big man in year 2 that they got. They always produce the good big man. And then Jaden Ivey, a good year 2 player for them. Fourth place, I have Ohio State. E.J. Little in year 3 as a junior. He'll keep them in all these games. And Chris Holtman is one heck of a coach. 5 I have Michigan State. They're going to be good. Joey Hauser, redshirt senior. Good player for them. And Izzo just keeps them relevant year in and year out. 6th, I have Maryland. Expectations are higher for Mark Turgeon's team this year. Eric Ayala, senior already. They got Fats Russell as a transfer coming in, as well as another one in Qudus Wahab. In 7th, I have Rutgers. Expectations for that team this year after hanging around the top 25 all year. Gio Baker, redshirt senior. Ron Harper's already a senior, amazingly enough. And Steve Pickle is one heck of a coach. 8th, I have Indiana. Indiana seems to be an underachieving program every year under Archie Miller, but now Mike Woodson's in there. They have Trace Jackson Davis in year 3 already. And they have a good transfer coming in Xavier Johnson. And they also have an impact freshman potentially in Tamar Bates. In 9th place, I have Wisconsin. Greg Gard's team, I don't think is going to be as good as usually. Brad Davison, redshirt senior, they got. They have a good freshman coming in Checky Hepburn as well. In 10th place, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. Luka Garza gone. Now they have to rely on a bunch of new talent. They have Jordan Bohannon and Keegan Murray still around. And you know what? Fred McCaffrey's a really good coach. And they have a team that I think could mature later in the year. 11, Nebraska. Jesus. They have a good freshman coming in Bryce McGowens. I mean, that's really all they have going for them. 12th, Northwestern. They made the tournament that one year, and then they really just fell flat on their face. Chris Collins still around. They have a good transfer coming in, but he's starting to year off the bench, and Elijah Williams from Fairleigh Dickinson. 13th, I have Penn State. That's a team that almost made the tournament several years ago before COVID, but obviously COVID ruined their season. Mika Shrewsbury's their coach. They have a couple transfers coming in that could help them. Jaheim Cornwall and Jalen Pickett. And a very veteran Leighton team, too. And then in the cellar, Minnesota, they have a new head coach in Ben Johnson. They have a good freshman coming in Trayton Thompson. He'll get them excited. And then they have a couple good transfers coming in. Luke Lowy and Jamison Battle. We'll see how they do. All right. My player of the year is Kofi Cockburn of Illinois, of course. Freshman of the year, Caleb Houston of Michigan. Also my newcomer of the year. And coach of the year, Brad Underwood, Illinois. Because they're going to win the Big Ten title again, in my opinion. And now the Big 12's turn. Always an interesting league. It's been the best league in the country probably the last 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. Let's see if it remains that way. Winning the Big 12, I have the Baylor Bears. I mean, they won the national championship last year. Of course they deserve it. And everyone's just penciling in Kansas. Like, Kansas is going through some program turmoil right now and whatnot. So much disrespect to Baylor. Matthew Meyer back, Adam Flager back, James Akinjo back. Or no, he's a newcomer, my bad. But yeah, some people coming back from their national championship team. Like, come on. Second, I have Texas. I really think that Chris Beard is going to make that team great again. They have a good transfer coming in, or two good transfers coming in, and Marcus Carr and Trey Mitchell. Andrew Jones is still there. Very talented player. In third, I have the Kansas Jayhawks. I think that they're going to disappoint again. Robbie Martin comes in from Arizona State. Marcus Carr. Oh, no, he's from Texas. Oops. Looking at the wrong name. Ochai Agbaji. Good player. That's a senior already. David McCormick's a good player. Jalen Wilson. They have a ton of talent. But they tend to crumble when it matters. And they did all of last year. In fourth place, West Virginia. This team overachieves year in and year out under Bob Huggins. Todd Sherman coming back as a redshirt senior. Bob Huggins just gets that team to overachieve year in and year out. We'll see what happens with this team. They have a good transfer coming in. Malik Curry from Old Dominion. Shaw McNeil was a good player for them last year. Number 5, I have Texas Tech. They obviously have a new coach in Mark Adams. They have some guys coming back. Terrence Shannon. They have a good newcomer coming in Kevin Obener. And Kevin McCullough's still there as well. So they have some talent there with the Red Raiders. In 6th, I have the Oklahoma Sooners. I think Oklahoma just gets overlooked. Porter Moser takes over as coach for Lon Kruger, who retired. A really good transfer coming in with Tanner Groves. CJ Nolan could be an impact freshman off the bench. So we'll see about the Sooners. In 7th, I have Oklahoma State. I just think the turmoil is going to come back to bite them. I just don't see how they get up for literally a lot. And they have some solid players. Avery Anderson's not bad. They get a transfer from Kansas. Bryce Thompson. And Mike Boynton's their coach. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, bye-bye. Number 8 in this conference, I have TCU. Jamie Dixon's still there. Some good transfers coming in. Shahada Wells and Emmanuel Miller. And they have a good year 2 player in Mike Miles. In 9th, I have Kansas State. They're an interesting team. Bruce Weber's still there. Sometimes he gets them to overachieve. Nigel Peck and Mike McGraw return. Then Marquise Dowell comes over from Little Rock. He'll come off the bench. And then the cellar, I have Iowa State. TJ Otzelberger's the coach. Tyrese Hunter could be a good freshman player for them. Isaiah Brockington comes over from Penn State. He could be good for the Cyclones as well. All right, my player of the year, I have Remy Martin of Kansas. Freshman of the year, Kendall Brown of Baylor. Newcomer of the year, Marcus Carr, Texas. And coach of the year, Scott Drew of Baylor. Big West. First, I have UC Irvine. Second, UC Santa Barbara. Third, UC Riverside. Fourth, UC Davis. Fifth, Cal State Bakersfield. Sixth, Hawaii. Seventh, Cal State Fullerton. Eighth, Long Beach State. Ninth, Cal Poly. And 10th, Cal State Northridge. My player of the year, Colin Welp of UC Irvine. Freshman of the year, A.J. Mitchell of UC Santa Barbara. Newcomer of the year, J.P. Mormon, the second of UC Riverside. And coach of the year, Joe Pasternak of UC Irvine. The Colonial. First, I have Delaware. Second, Northeastern. Third, Drexel. Fourth, James Madison. Fifth, Hofstra. Sixth, Alon. Seventh, Charleston. Eighth, Towson. Ninth, UNC Wilmington. And in the cellar, I have William and Mary. Player of the year, Carmen Winter of Drexel. Freshman of the year, Jamari Thomas of UNC Wilmington. Newcomer of the year, Zach Cooks of Hofstra. Coach of the year, Bill Cohen of Northeastern. Conference USA is always an interesting conference. Winning the conference, I have Louisiana Tech. They have a good sophomore player in Kenneth Lofton Jr. Isaiah Crawford's a good year 3 player for them. And I like their coach, Aaron Conkle. Second, I have UAB. They have a lot of talent. They have Jordan Walker as a transfer coming in. Quan Jackson, Tavon Loven back for senior years. Third, I have Western Kentucky. Keith Williams, redshirt senior, who's a transfer. Jalen Butts, same thing. Fourth, I have Marshall. Usually a contender in this league every year. Andrew Taylor. year 3 already. Can't believe he's a junior. 5th, I have North Texas. They have a good player in Thomas Bell, and they have a good transfer coming in Tyler Perry. 6th, I have Old Dominion. 7th, Charlotte. 8th, Rice. 9th, FAU. 10th, UTEP. 11th, UTSA. 12th, FIU. 13th, Southern Miss. 14th, Middle Tennessee. Player of the year, I have Taven Lovin of UAB. Freshman of the year, Kenneth Lofton of Louisiana Tech. Newcomer of the year, Keith Williams of Western Kentucky. Coach of the year, Eric Conkle of Louisiana Tech. The Horizon League: 1st, Cleveland State. 2nd, Wright State. 3rd, Northern Kentucky. 4th, Milwaukee. 5th, Oakland. 6th, Detroit Mercy. 7th, Youngstown State. 8th, UIC. 9th, Purdue Fort Wayne. 10th, Robert Morris. 11th, Green Bay. 12th, IUPUI. Player of the year, Grant Basile of Wright State. Freshman of the year, Patrick Baldwin, Milwaukee. Newcomer of the year, Baldwin. And Coach of the year, Dennis Gates of Cleveland State. The Ivy League: 1st, Yale. 2nd, Harvard. 3rd, Princeton. 4th, Penn. 5th, Brown. 6th, Dartmouth. 7th, Cornell. 8th, Columbia. Player of the year, Azar Swain of Yale. Freshman of the year, Lewis Lesmond of Harvard. Newcomer of the year, Justice Ajabor of Harvard. And Coach of the year, James Jones of Yale. Next up, the Mid-American Conference, the MAC. First place, I have the Buffalo Bulls. They're a contender every year. They have a good coach in Jim Whitesell. Ronald Segu, Jonathan Williams. A really good dynamic duo there for Buffalo. 2nd, I have Ohio. They have Jason Carter back. Ben Vanderplas back as well. Dwight Wilson. Marcus Sears. They have a ton of talent, Ohio. They have more talent than given credit for. 3rd, I have Toledo. That's another team with some talent. JT Shumate and Ryan Rollins. 4th, I have Kent State. Sincere Kari is a good player, so is Malik Jacobs. And Kari's obviously a transfer. 5th, I have Akron. KJ Walton, already a senior. 6th, I have Miami of Ohio. 7th, Bowling Green. 8th, Ball State. 9th, Western Michigan. 10th, Central Michigan. 11th, Eastern Illinois. 12th, Northern Illinois. My player of the year, Jonathan Williams of Buffalo. Freshman of the year, Raheem Moss of Toledo. Newcomer of the year, Jason Carter of Ohio. Coach of the year, Jim Whitesell of Buffalo. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference: 1st, Iona. 2nd, St. Peter's. 3rd, Monmouth. 4th, Rider. 5th, Marist. 6th, Fairfield. 7th, Siena. 8th, Manhattan. 9th, Quinnipiac. 10th, Niagara. 11th, Canisius. My player of the year is Katie Nadefo of St. Peter's. Freshman of the year, Corey McKeithen of Rider. Newcomer of the year, Tyson Jolly of Iona. And Coach of the year, Rick Pitino of Iowa. Next up is the MEAC. 1st place, Norfolk State. 2nd, NC Central. 3rd, Morgan State. 4th, Coppin State. 5th, Howard. 6th, Delaware State. 7th, SC State. 8th, Maryland Eastern Shore. Player of the year, Joe Bryant, Norfolk State. Freshman of the year, TJ Mardlock of South Carolina State. Newcomer of the year, Eric Boone of NC Central. Coach of the year, Kevin Bordas of Morgan State. The Missouri Valley Conference. In 1st place, I have the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. Loyola Chicago. They're just tournament darlings every year. They have a good transfer coming in Chris Knight. And they have other talent as well as Lucas Williamson as a redshirt senior, as well as Aher Ugok. In 2nd place, I have Drake. Roman Penn is a really good player. Shaquan Hempel, too. 3rd, I have Northern Iowa. They have the best player in the conference, in A.J. Green, who's already a senior. They have a good redshirt senior in Austin Fife. In 4th place, I have Missouri State. They have 2 very good players in Isaiah Mosley and Gage Prim. In 5th place, I have Southern Illinois. They got some talent there, too. Marcus Domsack and Lance Jones. 2 very talented players. 6th, Bradley. 8th, Evansville. Or 7th, Evansville. 8th, Valparaiso. 9th, Indiana State. And 10th, Illinois State. My player of the year, A.J. Green of Northern Iowa. Freshman of the year, Tucker DeVries of Drake. Newcomer of the year, Chris Knight of Loyola Chicago. And Coach of the year, Drew Valentine of Loyola Chicago. The Mountain West Conference, which is always an interesting one every year. In 1st place in that conference, I have the San Diego State Aztecs. They have a ton of talent in Matt Bradley, Nathan Mensah. Bradley's obviously a transfer. And they have a very good coach in Brian Dutcher. 2nd place, I have Colorado State. They have a lot of good players, too. David Roddy, Adam Thistlewood, Isaiah Stevens. And they have a good coach, Nico Medved. In 3rd place, I have Nevada. Steve Alford's is a good coach. They always have this team relevant. Grant Sherfield Jr. and Desmond Cambridge are 2 talented players that they got. Boise State, I have 4th. They got a really good player in Abu Kiblab. We'll see about the rest of the squad. Leon Rice, that's a very wild card team that Leon Rice has. In 5th place, I have Utah State. They're an interesting team for sure. They have some key players coming back. And they have some good transfers coming in from UMBC and RJ Idelrock and Brendan Horvath. A lot of unknowns with Utah State. They have a good coach in Ryan Odom. In 6th place, I have Fresno State. 7th, UNLV. 8th, Wyoming. 9th, New Mexico. 10th, San Jose State. 11th, Air Force. Player of the year, I have David Roddy of Colorado State. Freshman of the year, R.J. Keene of Boise State. Newcomer of the year, Matt Bradley of San Diego State. And Coach of the year, Nico Medved of Colorado State. The NEC, 1st, I have Wagner. 2nd, Bryant. 3rd, Mount St. Mary's. 4th, LIU. 5th, Merrimack. 6th, Sacred Heart. 7th, Fairleigh Dickinson. 8th, St. Francis, Brooklyn. 9th, St. Francis, Pennsylvania. And 10th, Central Connecticut. Player of the year, Alex Morales of Wagner. Freshman of the year, Noble Crawford of LIU. Newcomer of the year, Tyler Breselford of Bryant. And Coach of the year, Bashir Mason of Wagner. The OVC, in 1st place, I have the Belmont Bruins, of course. Always a good team. Casey Alexander is a really good coach. Nick Mazinski, Grayson Murphy, Luke Smith. That's their big 3. 2nd, I have Morehead State. They have some good players. Johnny Broom, Skylar Potter, Jalen Hall is a transfer. 3rd, I have Murray State. They have a ton of talent. Carter Collins as a transfer. KJ Williams and Tevin Brown as well. 4th, I have Southeast Missouri. 5th, Tennessee State. 6th, Austin Peay. 7th, Tennessee Tech. 8th, SAU Edwardsville. 9th, Eastern Illinois. And 10th, Tennessee Martin. Player of the year, Nick Mazinski, Belmont. Freshman of the year, Drew Calderon of Austin Peay. Newcomer of the year, Carter Collins of Murray State. And the coach of the year, Matt McMahon of Murray State. The Pac-12, always a fun conference to follow. And in 1st place in the conference, without any doubt, the UCLA Bruins, led by Johnny Juzang, freshman Peyton Watson, Tiger Campbell, and Jamie Jaquez. They are loaded. And Mick Cronin's got a great team on his hands. Second, I have the Oregon Ducks. Quincy Guerrero comes in as a transfer, as well as Davion Harmon. Will Richardson's still around. So, they got a nice little foundation with Dana Altman. In third, I have USC. Isaiah Mobley back for year 3. And Andy Enfield's done a great job with this program year in and year out. In fourth place, I have Arizona. They have a new coach in Tommy Lloyd after the Sean Miller era comes to an end. Benedict Morton's back. Azulis Tublace. And they have some good freshmen coming in as well. In fifth, I have Oregon State. I think this is a team that people are underestimating in this conference. They have a really good coach in Wayne Tinkle. They have Jared Lucas coming back. They have Xavier Malone Key coming over from Fairleigh Dickinson. In sixth place, I have Arizona State. Bobby Hurley's just a great coach, and people just pencil him in because of him and his presence alone. They have some good transfers coming in, and Marion Jackson and Jay Heath. Marcus Bagley still around, and they have DJ Horn coming off the bench, a transfer from Illinois State. Seventh, I have Colorado, Tad Boyle. Solid coach. They have a good player in Jabari Walker. In eighth, I have Washington State. They have a really good junior player in Noah Williams. In ninth, I have Stanford. They weren't bad last year. They have a good freshman, though, coming in Harrison Ingram, who's a must-watch for the sport. 10th, I have Utah. Utah's not the same program anymore. That's unfortunate because they always would make the contenders work year in and year out. Craig Smith's the coach. They have a Utah State transfer coming in, Marco Anthony, and another one in Raleigh Worcester. In 11th place, I have the Washington Huskies. That program's kind of fallen too. Mike Hopkins is the coach. They have Dejon Davis coming over from Stanford. Jamal Bay back. And at the bottom, I have Cal. That's just so sad what's happened to Cal. Mark Fox is their coach. They have the Charlotte transfer coming in, Jordan Shepard. All right, my player of the year, Johnny Juzang of UCLA. Freshman of the year, Peyton Watson of UCLA. Newcomer of the year, Quincy Guerrier of Oregon. And coach of the year, Wayne Tinkle of Oregon State. The SEC, another monster of a conference here. And in first place in the conference, I have the Kentucky Wildcats. I think that they're back, baby. They have a lot of talent coming in, as they do each and every year. A talented freshman in Ty Washington. A transfer senior in Kellen Grady. And they have a good junior in Oscar Tshiebwe. Second place, I have Tennessee. They have a very talented freshman in Kennedy Chandler. Josiah Jordan James, good player as well. In third, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Javon Quinterly is a really talented player. Jaden Shackelford, really good as well. That's a contender with Nate Oates. In fourth place, I have the Arkansas Razorbacks. Devo Davis is a good year 2 player for them. And then Chris Likes is a good redshirt senior that's going to be playing for them as well. In fifth, I have the Auburn Tigers. They have a good freshman coming in Jabari Smith. And they have a good transfer coming in Walker Kessler. In sixth, I have LSU. They have a good year, a senior player in Darius Days. In 7th, I have the Florida Gators. They have a really good big man in Colin Castleton. And they really don't have much else. In 8th place, I have Mississippi State. Iverson Molinar is a good year 3 player. In 9th place, I have Ole Miss. Ole Miss is interesting. That's a little bit of a wild card in this conference. Under Kermit Davis, who's a really good coach. They have a good freshman coming in Deshaun Ruffin. In 10th place, I have the Texas A&M Aggies. Buzz Williams, I believe this is his 3rd year already. A couple good transfers coming in. Tyrese Radford of Virginia Tech and Marcus Williams of Wyoming. They have a freshman starting in Manny Obeski. In 11th, I have South Carolina, the Gamecocks. A very veteran-laden team. Krayshawn Bryant back for his senior year. Number 12, I have Vanderbilt. I think alone, they really put me with the spot. They have a good transfer from Green Bay coming in, Amari Davis. They have a freshman in the lineup, and Yaya Kaita. In 12th, I have Missouri. Or 13th, I have Missouri. Oh, wait, no, I just did Missouri right there. That's my mistake. That was Missouri that I just did. With Quanto Martin. I have them in 13th. Talking about the Green Bay transfer. And then here's 12. I have Vanderbilt. Scottie Pippen. As a junior, the son of Scottie Pippen. 20-point-per-game score. And in the cellar, I have Georgia. Georgia's just not good. I'm sorry. Tom Crean, I feel really bad for him. A lot of JUCOs coming in, and freshmen, and a lot of unknown. All right, my player of the year is Javon Quinterly of Alabama. My freshman year is Kennedy Chandler of Tennessee. Newcomer of the year, Kellen Grady of Kentucky. And coach of the year, John Calipari of Kentucky. All right, next up is the SoCon. In first place, I have Chattanooga, who usually is good. They have a ton of talent. Silvio De Sousa, good transfer coming in. Malachi Smith, Dave Juan Baptiste. In second, I have Furman, a very talented team. Obviously, Mike Bothwell, good player. Jalen Slauson, good player. Alex Hunter, good player. In third, I have East Tennessee State. They have a good transfer coming in Jordan King. Ladarius Brewer and David Sloan are both really talented players as well. Fourth, Mercer. Fifth, Wofford. Sixth, UNC Greensboro. Seventh, VMI. Eighth, Citadel. Ninth, Stanford. 10th, Western Carolina. My player of the year is Mike Bothwell of Furman. Freshman of the year is Lewis Rose of VMI. Newcomer of the year, I have Silvio De Sousa of Chattanooga. And coach of the year, Lamont Paris of Chattanooga. Southland, first, Nichols. Second, New Orleans. Third, Southeastern Louisiana. Fourth, Northwestern State. Fifth, McNeese. Sixth, Texas A&M. Corpus Christi. Seventh, Incarnate Word. And eighth, Houston Baptist. My player of the year is Ty Gordon of Nichols. Freshman of the year, and Myron McDonald of Northwestern State. Newcomer of the year, Deshaun Allen Aikens of New Orleans. And my coach of the year, Austin Clonch of Nichols. All right, next up, the Patriot League, which I skipped earlier. First, Colgate. Second, Boston University. Third, Navy. Fourth, Army. Fifth, American. Sixth, Bucknell. Seventh, Lafayette. Eighth, Loyola, Maryland. Eighth, Holy Cross. And ninth, Lehigh. Player of the year, Nellie Cummings of Colgate. Freshman of the year, Isaiah Caldwell of Army. Newcomer of the year, Kevin Zine of Boston University. And Coach of the Year, Joe Jones of Boston University. SWAC. First, Texas Southern. Second, Prairie View A&M. Third, Jackson State. Fourth, Southern. Fifth, Grambling State. Sixth, Florida A&M. Seventh, Alcorn State. Eighth, Alabama State. Ninth, Alabama A&M. 10th, Bethune-Cookman. 11th, Arkansas Pine Bluff. 12th, Mississippi Valley State. My player of the year is Jawan Daniels of Prairie View A&M. Freshman of the year, Terrell Williams of Southern. Newcomer of the year, P.J. Henry of Texas Southern. And Coach of the year, Johnny Jones of Texas Southern. The Summit League. In first, I have the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Usually good year in and year out. Baylor Schreerman, Doug Wilson, Noah Friedel. A good, nice big three. Second, I have North Dakota State. They have a lot of talent as well. Rocky Cruiser, Tyree 80, Sam Grissel Sr. Third place, I have Oral Roberts. They have Max Ambas, who I think is the most talented player in the conference. They have a good transfer coming over, Isaac McBride. Fourth, South Dakota. Fifth, Western Illinois. Sixth, Kansas City. Seventh, North Dakota. Eighth, Omaha. Ninth, Denver. 10th, St. Thomas. My player of the year, Max Ambas of Oral Roberts. Freshman of the year, Tevin Smith of Denver. Newcomer of the year, Eric Oliver, South Dakota. And Coach of the year, Eric Henderson, South Dakota State. The Sun Belt. In first, I have Georgia State. They have a lot of talent. Kane Williams and Corey Allen as seniors. Alil Nasome as a redshirt senior as well. Second, Louisiana. They have Akuba, Greg Williams, Jordan Brown as transfers. In third, I have Appalachian State. They're a little bit of a wild card. Justin Forrest is a good player for them. Fourth, Texas State. Fifth, South Alabama. Sixth, Arkansas State. Seventh, Coastal Carolina. Eighth, Little Rock. Ninth, Texas Arlington. 11th, Troy. 12th, Georgia Southern. Or 11th, Georgia Southern. And 12th, Yale Monroe. The WAC. First, New Mexico State. Second, Stephen F. Austin. Grand Canyon. Third, Stephen F. Austin. Fourth, Abilene Christian. Fifth, Utah Valley. Sixth, Seattle. Seventh, Sam Houston. Eighth, Cal Baptist. Ninth, Texas Rio Grande Valley. 9th, Tarleton. 10th, Lamar. 11th, Lamar. 12th, Dixie State. And 13th, Chicago State. My player of the year is Gavin Kesmill of Stephen F. Austin. Freshman of the year, Jalen Jackson Posey of Stephen F. Austin. Newcomer of the year, Teddy Allen of New Mexico State. And the coach of the year, Chris Jans of New Mexico State. And I forgot to do awards for the Sun Belt. Player of the year, Corey Allen of Georgia State. Freshman of the year, Norchad Omier of Arkansas State. Newcomer of the year, Greg Williams, Louisiana. And coach of the year, Bob Marlin of Louisiana. And last but not least, the West Coast Conference. In first place, I obviously have the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I mean, who else? Rasir Bolton, a good transfer. Two good freshmen in Chet Holmgren and Hunter Salas. Obviously, Drew Timme returns as well. And they really are deep. In second, I have BYU. Alex Barcelo, and then transfer Tejon Lucas. And they also have Caleb Lohner there as well. And a good coach in Mark Pope. In third, I have St. Mary's. They have a lot of talent as well. Matthias Toss, Logan Johnson. Fourth, Loyola Marymount. Fifth, San Francisco. Sixth, Santa Clara. Seventh, Pepperdine. Eighth, Pacific. Ninth, San Diego. And 10th, Portland. Player of the year, Drew Timme, Gonzaga. Newcomer of the year, Tejon Lucas, BYU. Freshman of the year, Chet Holmgren of Gonzaga. And the coach of the year, Mark Few, Gonzaga, of course. All right. Now my national awards. National Player of the Year. We're going to go with Johnny Juzang of UCLA. National Freshman of the Year. We are going to go with Paolo Banchero of Duke. Newcomer of the Year in the entire country. Marcus Carr, Texas. And the National Coach of the Year, I am going to pick Chris Beard of Texas. I really think that Texas is going to be great. Or I should say Scott Drew, because I have them winning the Big 12 and him winning. So yeah, we're going to go with Scott Drew for that. Sorry, Chris Beard. My final four. I'm going to go with Gonzaga, Illinois, UCLA, and Villanova. And my national champions, to me, just feels like it's this particular team's year and it's their time. I'm going to go with UCLA over Gonzaga for the national title. And then in the national semifinals, we'll do Gonzaga over Villanova and UCLA over Illinois. All right, so that's it for the 2021-22 College Basketball Predictions Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it.